Hey guys, so this is a really long one and I did it over numerous days and I've had to double time some of it, otherwise it's the world's longest video. So bear with me. I'm also going to be doing this voiceover in a few bits because it's a half an hour long video and I've got so much to do in between like clients and stuff, so I will just be adding the odd bit here and there. So as you can see, I've got my previous set on and I just didn't know what to do with my nails, so this was the pinky I did after doing a red one on my other thumb, figuring out what to do. There is a slight split, as you can see, in the side of my pinky finger. Obviously if this was a client I wouldn't do nails on them, and definitely not this long, but I'm a terrible nail tech and I'm putting another long nail on because the split, there's no blood, it's not like raw skin or anything, I've just split the nail quite low down. So I've removed the previous set, applied my form, put a thin clear base near the where the form joins the free edge and on the body of the nail, and then I'm coming in with CJP Black Magic. For once my room was really hot, and as you could see when I applied the Black Magic on the body of my nail, it started kind of flooping all over the place because I was a little wet and it was really hot in the room. So try not to do that and get black all over your cuticles. I've now used crystal glass to pick up some mirror shards in ultraviolet. Now this was a new one on me too, because normally I just use mirror shards like over a nude nail or similar, but I used them over black here and oh my god, they're amazing. I then used my wet brush to pick up some holographic multi-cut glitter in graphite and then some holographic hex in black, just because I wanted to do kind of like, one of my hands was going to end up being like really red and festive, and the other one I was going to do like kind of more Nightmare Before Christmas inspired, so like blacks and crystals and stuff like that, just because at this time of year I do like to have a festive set at some point, but it gets really annoying after a while. So I couldn't put up with both hands bright red for 2 weeks, and then when I'm happy with the glitter placement and everything, I'm just coming in with a bead of crystal glass and I'm capping that nail. Obviously this is quite a long nail, so I'm going to do it in a couple of beads. As you can see, I've gone back to my old shape of my Russian almond. I really love my Russian almonds. I do like wearing my stilettos, but I'm very heavy-handed with my nails, so my stilettos I do tend to batter about a bit too much. So I tend to break my nails a lot easier when I'm wearing stilettos, whereas when I've got my Russian almonds, there's that little bit extra strength because they've got that, you know, deep C curve and the sidewalls heading down. So just finishing off with my final bead of clear. Again, doing as much as I can with my brush so that when it comes to filing it's just perfecting rather than having to then create the shape. Okay, so now we're going to the real-time video. So this was obviously done afterwards. So this was done a few days later. So I filed all of my nails down to thin clear bases. You can see the other hand I've put my red set on, yet to file in, that's why they look a bit scruffy around the edges and stuff. And with this nail I'd put my thin clear base on like I had with my pinky, and then I'm coming in with my black. I've done this at real time for you so that you get an idea of the speed and the time it takes me to do it. I will say, while I was filming this bit, I had about 3 different deliveries turn up. It was ridiculous. Including my new brushes, yay! So that is why the video at places a little bit disjointed. Like one of my deliveries turned up and there was no one here to sign for it, so I had to like get up and like halfway through pinching and stuff like that. So yeah, I apologise for that. It was kind of out of my control. So I'm just making sure I'm looking from every angle. I just wanted to show you this, how I use my colour acrylic. So I brought the Monomer into shot. So this is how I apply, obviously, my usual pickup with the black, but people often ask how do I stop my monomer. getting coloured by the acrylic I'm using, especially with like blacks or reds. See how I wiped the brush, but as I bring it out there, I'm not wiping it along the side of the monomer dish. I just bring it straight out and wipe it on my kitchen towel, because if it's got black in the brush, I don't then want to be putting that in my monomer. So you can dip your brush in monomer, but don't wipe it along the side of your dampened dish, because when you wipe it along the side, it pushes that colour pretty much into it. Then coming in using a wet brush and using my Crystal Chameleon Flakes in Unikite or Euconite, I forget which way around that is, sorry. I just use a wet brush to pick them up and just drag them down the nail. And I took off some of the black there very intelligently, see? So I'm just getting a nice dry bead of that black and just reapplying. And then I also use some of the Chameleon Flakes. So the Crystal, they change colour depending on what the base is, whereas the Chameleon Flakes are solid colour, and these are the Chameleon Flakes in Medusa, which are kind of a bluey purpley colour. And I'm just adding them on as well. I'm not bothered with most of this set, to be honest, about getting too near the cuticle, because on pretty much every nail I'm either going to be putting crystals or some sand art near the cuticle area. So especially if you're using with black, because it can be very unforgiving, I didn't worry about getting too close to the cuticle. And I was just showing you there the two different pigments, not pigments, flakes. As you can see, the Medusa is a solid colour, whereas the Crystal Chameleon is crystal clear, so that when you put it on colours, that the base colour shines through as well. So it's quite a versatile product. I shot a little bit there, sorry, but on the whole, I felt I've got new camera set up, and I think it was a lot easier to do my own nails and keep them in shot. So hopefully you guys are noticing that this, you know, you're getting a better view. And then I'm capping that nail in crystal glass. As always with my capping, trying to think about the shape and structure of the nail, so getting that nice apex in and then blending forward and capping the rest of the nail. And the more you do now, the less you have to worry about when you're then filing. Especially when you're doing long nails on yourself, you want to be able to just perfect it rather than having to file it in. So if you can with your brush, get that nice apex, get everything kind of in place. When you're filing, you're just refining a bit, just smoothing off. And I'm going to continue capping that now. Right, it's 2 minutes before my next client arrives, so I'm going to have to say goodbye now, and I will continue this voiceover a bit later. Hey guys, so I'm back in the room, and right, so moving on to the next nail. So I'm just using my NSI Nail Pure Plus just to prep my natural nail plate, make sure it's nice and dehydrated. Do 2 at a time. And then I'm going to be applying the forms and then doing the next nails. Now I do remember that these next nails, halfway through, about 2 different deliveries turned up, and this was like one of those sets where I just kept getting interrupted. So I do apologise if it gets a bit kind of broken and not that easy to follow. I'm doing my nails again in a few days. That is how long it takes me to voice over these damn videos. So I will hopefully make more of an effort to get it all done in peace and quiet. So I was just showing you there with my brush the kind of line I'm looking for when applying my nail form. So I always just kind of like hold a brush or a file or something like that, so I can get an idea of the line I want the top line to follow. And I'm just coming in with that thin clear base. Just getting that nice, that nice kind of platform to work on. Just zoomed out a bit more there so you can actually see what I'm doing. And then just doing it on the body, adding that onto the body of the nail too. Then I'm coming in with the black, so placing that away from the cuticle area and then gently pushing back. So working nice and gently, and then just kind of brushing forward, almost painting it on as that base. It's working a little wetter than I usually do, so there's a bit of just trying to run away. Always making sure if your colour kind of runs away and goes anywhere near your cuticle, make sure you get in with the tip of your brush to just clear it away. And then just adding that final bit of black. And as you can see, you can work really thin as long as you have a nice highly pigmented colour. So this is from CJP, this is Black Magic. And for this nail, I'm going to do a matte top coat and plain design, so just want to get that nice base colour, and then I'm going to cap the entire nail in crystal glass. Placing just in front of that cuticle area, and using my brush to gently push back, always keeping my brush between the acrylic and my cuticle, and then pat, tap, pull gently, bring that acrylic forward, keeping that apex there. I don't want to flatten that out. And capping that entire nail. Okay, so my next nails are quite similar to my little finger, so I'm not going to show those in this video, just because, as I said, like deliveries turned up and stuff like that, so it's a bit disjointed. So just on the tip there I saw that I'd worn away a bit of that black, so I've just placed a little more black on, and then I'm going to finish capping that in clear. It's a good thing about this black, again, it's a strength powder, so it doesn't matter if it pokes through the clear at all. So now I'm going to file them in. This I've done in double time, just as I said at the beginning of the video, otherwise this video would have been really, really long. So first of all, I do a bit of a tidy up kind of the rough shape. So I do the baseline and then my free edge. And just wanting to check that I've got that nice pinch in there, and checking that like the baseline and the top line are parallel. And then it's very similar to my usual filing technique, so starting at those side walls and then going around the cuticle area and then the bulk of the nail. With a shape like this, you do definitely have to work all the way around the nail, so you're working from one side to the other. This is super, super fast, but if you look in my other videos in the playlist, My Nails, you will see me filing in much slower with my Russian Almond. So checking the top line and the base line. And then I'm happy with that from all angles. I'm ready for a bit of decoration. So again, what I'm showing you here is it's all a bit back and forth between when I was half done and fully done, like nails and playing around, so do bear with me. So I'm top coating that solid colour nail with matte top coat, and then going to remove that tacky layer, and then I'm just going to use some of my Crystal Nails Royal Gel, which is a tack-free design gel, so you can use any design gel you like as long as it is tack-free. And I'm just creating like a little icicle design. And when I'm happy with that, I'm just using some of the Glitter Fairies Moonshine glitter in Superfine, which is kind of a clear, sparkly glitter. Curing that for 60 seconds and then taking off the excess. So we've got two little icicle nails there. And then I'm creating my crystal waterfall. So I'm doing that, and I've got a selection of crystals in numerous different sizes. They're all the crystal rounds and different colours, so I'm using blacks and crystals and effects like that. I was going to use one of the raindrop ones but decided against it, and basically all I do is just randomly place these crystals around the nails. So I start at the cuticle area, so from the cuticle area down there's lots of crystals, then as I move down the nail there are fewer and fewer. I was using my crystal katana just because I'd sorted out all of my cupboards the other day, found it again, and I thought, right, okay, last chance, start using it again. My opinion hasn't massively changed on these. Sometimes it picks up, sometimes it doesn't. I just think for the price tag I don't get on with it as well as I do with my wax crayons that are 99p each for like a pack of 5 off eBay. So yeah. Used it a few times, and then as you can see, like, I just can't pick up with it. It does my head in, and it's got a proper little carry case, but every now and then it just goes, no, I'm not picking up. So that's a bit frustrating for me there. When it starts filling up, I make sure it's even on both sides of the nail, and then I will start adding just random crystals down that nail. Now you've got two different ways of doing this. You can do the top half of your crystal waterfall, then top coat the nails, and then add the random crystals. Or you can put all the crystals on, including your random crystals, and then top coat around it. The only thing with top coating around it is you've got to be really careful not to go over any of those crystals, because obviously they will lose their shine and they will be dulled when you do that. So for this I'm going to top coat, so I'm going to do my usual butting up against the crystals. And I'm going to cure that for 60 seconds. And then while that's just cooling down, I'm just going to put some crystals on my thumb. So if you're going to put crystals on top of a top coat, you always want to make sure that it's fully cooled down, because otherwise you'll go to pop them on and they'll just slide all over the place. Top coating that thumb. And as I said, just randomly popping little dots of glue and then popping random crystals down the nail. And when they're all finished, I'm applying my cuticle oil. So there you go guys, sorry this video took so long, sorry it was a bit disjointed. I pinky promise my next set of nails I will lock myself away and make sure there are no distractions, and I will strive to make it a really good video for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed that guys. Any questions, comments or requests, just pop it below. Thanks for tuning in, bye!